Last Man in episode 46 with Dan, Greg, and our newest guest member.
Guest member?
Yeah,
member
no,
guest?
he's in for real. Stefan, who's sitting left to me in Cam's
We were
chair.
going to tell them who it was. We were going to make them guess.
Oh, whatever.
Oh, well, too late.
Yeah. I ruined the surprise.
The surprise is absolutely ruined.
It's okay.
He came well equipped today with his Dallas Stars Jamie Benn jersey. So, he's looking very stylish.
It looks good.
Yeah.
Nice jersey. Honestly, remember when I first bought, like, when I saw the logo, I was like, man, that looks sweet. Like, it wasn't like the Jets logo when they first came on. I was like, but like the Dallas one, I was like, that's the one. The green too was pretty sweet. No complaints.
The right.
Well, to kind of grow to it, but I like it.
I liked it the second I saw it. Like the perfect colors. Have you ever seen that? Like, it was just like a 5 or 7 minute documentary of how they like redesigned the logo and the jersey. They went through a bunch of different like. At one point, it was that logo, like the Dallas with the star, like the D with the star, with American flag, like Texas
Actually, I
colors.
did see that. Yeah.
Because
it is the video when Tampa Bay made like a really bad New Jersey and had like palm trees and everything on it and it looked really stupid. And then they brought their players in and showed it to them and like, they filmed it all.
Yeah. Did they do that on purpose?
It was like a joke one?
Yeah, it was like a joke and it was terrible.
That's hilarious.
And they brought it in, the guys were like, oh. Okay.
The Islanders do that to their team every single year. It's just like, oh, this is our new third jersey. Like, oh, again. Like, you guys are just...
They still have the black and gray and orange one.
Oh.
That was...
brutal. Like, they were just... I don't know who... I think they have a small child. Like, hey, you pick the colors and draw this logo, and we'll go with that as our new third jersey for the year.
They're the Stevie Wonders. That's what I called them.
Oh, that was brutal.
Just so awful. I do like their Stadium Series jersey. So, like, that nice blue with the NY with the hockey stick. That looks nice.
They should make that their permanent.
I think they've been using it. Have they not used it a few more times after that, too, though?
They use it in the playoffs?
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't remember. They've been out for so long now. That was 2 months ago.
That's true.
Since they were relevant.
Yeah.
They're as relevant as the Leafs are. And the Jets.
Yes. Technically, yes, they are. You're right. Actually, they're less relevant than the Leafs because the Leafs have been in the headlines recently.
Yeah, that's very true. New York hasn't really done anything. Except move arenas to a place where they're not going to be able to watch hockey.
Where you can only see the Jumbotron in one half of the arena. So stupid. Awful.
Okay, so we do have quite the show lined up today. And by quite the show, I mean very little lined up.
Wow, way to encourage people to keep listening.
Hey, whatever. There's stuff. We're going to...
Did we say Cam's not here?
Cam is not here.
Did we mention that? I
No.
don't know. Cam's
we mentioned
not here.
it last week.
He's not here.
No.
We kicked him out.
Well,
contract negotiations, so
he's holding out right now.
Yeah.
They brought in a substitute like the movie The Replacements. I'm Keanu Reeves of the new show here, so...
actually, he sent us pictures from Riderland, and we decided no to...
Riderland, for everyone that does not know, is Saskatchewan.
And for anyone who does not know, that is CFL football, which is our version of football, which means the field is
like
longer and wider.
It's like the AHL of football.
But just a little bit worse.
Just a little. Not much, yeah. Not at all. It's almost incomparable, but just a little worse, yeah.
Actually, they're not even comparable.
No.
The guys
from the CFL, they get like a practice squad roster in the States. They go to the NFL. They're like, I'm not. Like, that's like CFL All-Stars. So.
They'd rather be on a practice roster than playing the CFL.
You make more money, man.
Yeah.
You still make more money.
That's sad.
You make like, what, $400,000 on a practice roster in the NFL?
That was like way back in the day. I remember Casey Printers.
Oh my God.
He was the QB for like the BC Lions. He signed with the Kansas City Chiefs. He's like, yeah, I'm going to stay here and be on their practice squad instead of being a starter in the CFL because I make more money.
I'd do that for like 2 or 3 years and I'd come back to the CFL after.
You'd be so good at practicing. Like your habits would be unreal.
Make like a couple $1,000,000 and come back.
Maybe that's what Allen Iverson needed to do.
Maybe.
Practice squad.
You could have afforded a quarter pounder then.
Yeah.
Oh, God. I don't know this story.
No?
What happened?
There's a video of him, they're interviewing him after he went bankrupt, and he's like, I can't even afford a quarter pounder, man. And he's like crying. He's like dead serious.
Poor Allen Iverson.
Yeah, I know. Poor guy.
Jeez. Okay, well, the most relevant thing in hockey right now is Stanley Cup Final, which actually has been really good hockey. 4 games have been played, 4 one-goal games, and they've just been a seesaw battle all the way through. Currently, through 4 games, series is tied 2-2. Chicago taking 2 and Tampa taking 2, obviously. So we'll just run through the games, kind of talk about what we've noticed so far is Stanley Cup Finals when it seems that more people start watching again, because I mail it in conference final because I just don't really care, and then Stanley Cup Final comes and I watch all of it. So game 1, Chicago took 2-1 after Tampa took the lead and really opened the scoring with a beauty tip by Kolorin.
Yeah, it was retarded. I couldn't believe he swatted it out of midair, and Crawford was like, "What?" I'm not even gonna save that. There's no way.
It's the perfect tip.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then that got overshadowed by a third period meltdown.
Well, they tried playing they're like, "Hey, let's just hang on to this 1-goal lead against the team we're playing in the Stanley Cup Finals, like one of the best third period teams in the league."
Yeah. Oh, one of the best third period teams, and a team you don't want them leading after 2 because they do not lose. Yeah. And by do not, I mean never have lost this season after leading after 2 periods.
And Tampa should, if they want to look after anyone, look after the Jets. If you play safe, you're going to lose.
Yeah. There's no way.
Especially against Chicago.
You know what? Tampa needs to take the Toronto mentality where you just go, no defense, just all offense. And look what happened when Toronto started playing defense. They started to lose. When they just go offense, they win.
That's what it is.
It's the most classic story. Just keep playing the way you're playing.
Yeah.
Don't change it. But they do, and they... But, it's Chicago.
Yeah. I think it's something...
count them out.
That's nerves, too, right? I guess first Stanley Cup Final for a lot of these guys. Chicago's been there before, Tampa's like, we'll just hold off for this 1-goal lead, and then Chicago's like, okay, we've been here. Let's just clean up like we always do.
Trying to think who on Chicago hasn't been to a Cup Final. Antoine Vermette.
Yeah.
Tiemannin's been there.
Richards hasn't been there with them.
But he's been there,
he's been there.
Runeblad's never been there.
He's not playing
And Teravainen. Everyone else has been there.
Yeah. Teravainen wasn't there 2 years ago?
No.
He's his first year this year. Really.
They made a couple trades, though, didn't they, this year?
Vermette and Tiemannin. But Tiemannin was there in 2010.
Comiskey's another one is not...
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And that Desjardins.
Guy.
Yeah, so, they have, 3... And then you go to Tampa, where none of them have been in a Cup Final, except for, Coburn, all the guys who were on New York last year, Boyle and Strawman.
Yeah.
And other than that, I don't think anyone else.
I was going to say Callahan, but no, he wasn't there.
He was traded for there.
That's pretty...
Garrison, was he on with Vancouver?
Ooh, no.
No,
he was with Florida for a while and then got traded.
Ooh.
He was doing good with Florida, though. He put up almost 20 goals one year.
Remember that he had that one monster year? Everyone thought he was going to be the next best defenseman, and then he's been traded 3 times since then.
Yeah, that's going to be the next... That's going to be what Mike Green's going to turn into, I think.
Yeah,
he's going to get signed in the offseason by Edmonton for all the money. Then they're going to trade him for something.
He'd be good there, I think.
I don't know. I feel like he's kind of what they have already in maybe not as good Justin Schultz, but Justin Schultz could be that player if he had someone else. Mike Green's always had a decent pairing D-man.
Yeah, that's true.
Justin Schultz has literally nobody to play with.
But it's Edmonton, and they don't care about defense. True, remember, it's all offense.
Yeah. And that still works out for them so well. Like one of the lowest scoring teams in the league, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah.
They don't have a goalie. Yes, Kobe, we can hear you.
Cove?
Our correspondent wants to talk to us, but
our field reporter.
We'll shut him up for now.
We've been ignoring him for 6 months.
No,
we fired you. Go away.
We'll talk about Glendale later. I know you want to talk about the Coyotes. Talk about that later. It's a breaking story. I understand.
Okay.
We get it. So then. Game 1 was on Wednesday, so Game 2 was Saturday night, right? I have that right?
Yeah, Saturday.
You're right, yeah.
Saturday, because today's Thursday, where Tampa decided to win 4-3, and the biggest question mark in this game was after, with Ben Bishop, because he had to swap out a couple times with Vasilevsky, and Vasilevsky actually ended up finishing the game. Funny story.
He gets the win, too.
Yeah, he got the win, but funny story about this. So the game was tied 3-3 when Vasilevsky came in, and then Tampa scored, and then he was subbed out right away for Ben Bishop. If he had won that game, he would have been the first goal in NHL history to record a win by not getting a shot in a Stanley Cup Final game.
Well,
that would have been
too much, though, right? I mean,
no, it's such a rarity, but it's just one of those.
I never knew that the rule was if you were on the ice for the game winner,
you get the win.
You get the win. I always thought it was if you played more than half the game.
I thought it was whoever finished the game kind of got it. I thought that was but obviously I guess.
Yeah, I guess not.
That's so good for him.
Yeah.
So that was his first Stanley Cup Final win in his first appearance.
He won a Stanley Cup Final game before Ben Bishop did.
He did.
That is very true. Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that.
So.
He's also won a cup final game before. A lot of goaltenders.
Yeah.
Winnipeg Arena.
Yeah.
A lot of guys. Carey Price.
Yeah.
He's won a game before Carey Price has won.
Yeah.
Let's bring that into perspective.
It's just I found that was pretty cool.
That's a very unique situation. Tampa Bay then they played Monday night. Ben Bishop was back in net but looked rough. Like he looked injured.
But he played like unbelievably well. It was it was so weird. Like he'd make these unreal like slide across, like he'd slide in his crease. He wouldn't look bad. Then he would get up and he'd be like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna die." It's like, how did you do that?
Every time he makes a save, I think he went.
Like you were a goalie, you understand kind of like that.
Well, I don't know what
movement.
it was like. Do you know what's wrong? Did they say what it was? Like
people were guessing knee, but I don't know if it's.
I heard dehydration. That's why they kept pulling him.
Yeah.
So then
I remember the first.
I don't know how accurate that is.
The first time I thought it was like a bathroom. Everyone was thinking bathroom break in game 2. It's like, oh, and then Luongo was tweeting like, I couldn't get back in the game and it was overtime and he lost because he couldn't get back in. Oh, that was so funny. But yeah, that's what everyone thought it was. And then he went out the second time like, okay, he doesn't look like
something's wrong.
But I mean, to be dehydrated for what, like 3 days? Like
that's to me weird. That's if it's the Stanley Cup Final, you just hold it in. If you have to poo, I don't care how bad it is. Don't you?
No. Story about that actually.
It's the Stanley Cup Final. You hold it.
Wayne Gretzky pissed
or you
his
let
pants.
it go.
Pissed his pants.
Really?
Wayne Gretzky pissed his pants on the bench because he was going out so much. I can't remember where I heard it. It was the other day, and some guy's like, yeah, like he refused to like go to the bathroom because he's out every second shift, right? So he's like, he just pissed his pants.
That shit happens pretty frequently.
Oh yeah.
Could you just imagine like skating by that guy and just smelling it and just?
There's probably so much sweat and everything. You probably can't smell.
Yeah. Even then, it's like it's not like it's gonna be dehydrated piss or it stinks or anything. It's gonna be pretty,
that's true.
I imagine it's not gonna stink too bad, but I still wouldn't want to. I mean, at least it's number 1 and not number 2. That's
I think if you had to bite the bullet on number 1, that's okay.
And then number 2, just
I don't know.
That's when you excuse yourself and go to the locker.
Yeah.
Which, although like shouldn't really ever happen, but could you just imagine getting like emergency runs and just having to like run to the bathroom? Equipment manager, we need new pants, new jock, and new Under Armour stat.
I bet you it's happened before.
Oh, you think so? I feel like you would know though. Like, wouldn't it leak like at some like a little bit? I guess. Or,
yeah.
I mean, like my highlight as a goalie. I remember I had to. It was beer league hockey, so obviously not that intense, but I had a few drinks before. And I remember like mid game, I was like, oh my god, like I have to go to the bathroom. And everyone on the team knew I had to take a piss. So like every time I go to cover the puck, because I just wanted to whistle, my D-man would take it away from me. And at one point I just skated off and I just went over the bench and like in the corner and I was like, oh my god, like I just went to the bathroom. And the guy it's the guy who like went in because they put an extra player on. He actually made a save. It's like, oh, he's better than you. I'm like, oh, come on. Yeah, okay.
That's actually hilarious.
Yeah, now you know.
How the hell do we end up with pee? Like, Cam pisses
Every
his
week,
bed and...
You said there wasn't going to be bedwetting talk. Well, I mean,
It's just...
It happens.
Peeing in your pants talk. At what age is it okay to stop peeing in your pants?
Never.
Apparently. You Stanley Cup Finals, you gotta pee in your pants, so...
I guess so.
And if Cam's listening to this right now...
Which we know he is. He's going to be on the... He's going to be on the road tomorrow from one hippie land to another hippie land in... Actually, farmerland to farmerland. Cousin loving land to cousin loving land.
Between relatives.
Yes. I don't know where he's going. I think he might be in Moose Jaw tomorrow.
No, they're in Moose Jaw. Last night, they were in Regina. Today, I don't know where they're going.
Next. He's in that big chair. I saw a picture of
Medicine Hat?
That's a lot.
Is that
a bit of a drive.
From Regina, it's like 5 hours. I did it last summer.
Oh, okay.
But yeah,
that's not too bad, then.
Saskatoon?
I don't know if we're playing
Saskatoon or not. Cam, if you're going to Saskatoon, let us know.
Yeah. You know what we should have? Is she should, like, email the show, like, tales from my road trip.
Tales from the road.
Just like Jay and Dan podcast when Jay was in Australia and he would write Dan and Dan would read it on the air. Fuck, I miss those two. Those are the best sportscasters ever.
I honestly haven't watched SportsCenter regularly since they left.
America, appreciate what you have. Especially your fast food.
Including NBC broadcasts for the Stanley Cup Final, because SportsNet is
just
terrible.
Atrocious. Like,
awful.
Oh
my god.
And like, even like CBC, I don't know you guys, I hate Glenn Healy.
Oh yeah.
Glenn Healy is the worst. He'll go off, I remember one game, he went off about, who's that tennis star, was that the game? The guy who got really angry all the time.
Johnny McEnroe.
Yeah, John McEnroe was at the game, and he must have like made John McEnroe references like 4 or 5 times. I'm like, I get it, Glenn. Glenn, we're on our first game. We get it. He's at the game. He's angry. He got angry a couple of times. Like, yeah, these guys are playing like John McEnroe did. Okay, haha. And then he made just kept referencing it.
My favorite Glenn Healy moments is whenever he references to a goalie and the way they were playing. It's like, Glenn, you were never actually good in net. Any time the Leafs had to put you in, I knew it was a loss.
Oh, for sure, the worst goalie. But it's they never have a good player. Even any sportscaster, you never look at one and like, oh man, you were
Trey Aikman,
really good. Okay, well, hockey players. I'm thinking hockey.
Yeah, that's very true.
I can't name one of those guys that had an illustrious career. You know them. Nick Kiprios was never good. No.
Ray Ferraro probably was the best of the bunch, and he was good, but he wasn't.
PJ Stock, nothing really.
PJ Stock was a punch. God. He had one fight, and that's the only reason anyone knows about him.
Who's the other guy? Glenn Healy or
Mike Johnson,
Kelly Rudy. Okay, Mike Johnson should not be broadcasting anything.
Oh my god, I cannot stand him.
His voice is not good.
No.
And he just sounds annoying.
He has that cocky, shit-eating grin, he thinks he's the best sportscaster in the world every time he talks to him. If you ever watch him between the benches and the cameras on him, he has that grin yeah, I'm the fucking man. Yeah, you betcha. You're not.
You're terrible.
You got fired from TSN Jets. How bad
did he actually get fired?
Well, didn't you say they told him not to come back or something?
Oh, I can imagine.
Or I don't know. I mean,
I wouldn't be surprised. I could see myself saying that because that's how much I hate him.
I couldn't stand him.
Plus, Knighty and Engblom are better in my opinion.
Oh, definitely.
Plus, both of them would take pucks to the face. Mike Johnson would just cry and walk off the set. Yeah. I'm done with this shit.
Yeah.
Walk out.
There's no good ones. That's the thing. The only one I legitimately like as especially goalies. Goalies are the none of them were good.
Yeah.
I like Darren Pang, good guy. Kevin Weeks is the only one who seems like he knows what he's talking about half the time. Okay, I appreciate your opinion. Where's the other one?
Elliot Freeman.
Freeman's good.
But he never played hockey.
He never played.
Yeah.
That's the thing. But he just comes.
I used to watch him on the Score.
Yeah.
He used to be their morning broadcaster.
Yeah. With Greg Santoni. Or whatever his name was.
Does the Score even exist anymore? I don't think so. It's Sportsnet 360 or something.
Yeah, it's Sportsnet 360
Is that what it is now?
Yeah.
Remember, that was the best place. If you ever just actually wanted to know the score of a game, you go to the score. Because, TSN, they would just go on these... you look at the score, you're what do I care? But that's not even a sport I'm going to watch.
They used to be so
Women's
into
Division 2 rugby in the States. No, I don't need to know that.
They used to be so into hockey when I was younger. I used to watch the Score all the time. And then they're well, TSN's got hockey, so we're just going to show basketball. And they didn't even talk about hockey. I'm what the...
Yeah, they used to do court surfing on there. I remember that.
They pretty much were basketball only for a while.
They also did some NLL stuff, which was awesome. I love watching lacrosse.
They had Jerry D. That was also the best part. It was that, and they had Cabby too. That Cabby got to
that's where Cabby started.
That's when he was still really funny.
Steve Cooley, does he still do the?
No, he's done. It's somebody new now. Oh, yeah. Really? I don't know if he didn't.
He was the Hockey Tonight, right?
Yeah.
So who is it now?
Some other guy. He's actually not bad. I
liked him.
Well, is that the stats TSN stats guy? Is that who does it now?
Maybe I could see it being him. But yeah, I cannot. Yeah, America, appreciate what you have.
Yeah.
Even I sometimes, not always, I miss the man, the legend, Pierre Maguire. You get this guy, you dabble Pierre Maguire.
He's great.
You're oh yes, I missed you, and then you're you watch too much, stupid Pierre. I can't handle you. Can't handle you.
Actually, we watched the feed on Saturday at our friend Kevin's house, and that was the most enjoyable hockey game I think I watched all year. Because it's the NBC feed, and it's so much better.
Everything's exciting when they talk. It's oh my god, a pass! Yeah. Yes.
The only thing that pisses us off is the fact that we missed Coach's Corner, because you always have to watch Coach's Corner to see how pissed off Don's going to get about whatever it is.
It's even earlier in the playoffs, Don, they're no, Don, we can't do it. Ron's we don't have time. He's we're doing it! We're doing it! And they're and Ron's oh shit. And then they actually ran the clip because Don they're out of time. No, run the clip. And they ran the clip. Wow, the power of that guy. Can you imagine being a producer?
He's this senile old man. You just you just let him do what he wants. And you're he's old. He's old. It's okay.
He's almost done.
He's only got 5 more years. And he increases our ratings a lot.
Oh, he does. He definitely does.
All the controversial things he says.
I remember at the beginning of the year, and I remember talking about it on the podcast, his first Coach's Corner. He's well, I don't have a lot of time. They're going to cut me off in about 3 minutes. He's so pissed about it. And he mentioned it for 8 straight shows where he's I don't have any time, so...
How many times do you think when Ron McLean's just sitting there smiling, he's I want to fucking hit him in the head right now?
Oh, yeah, for sure. That guy is the most, the most patience of anyone in the universe. I can only imagine, like...
Well, not only that, but they ripped his, like, hosting job away from him, too.
Yeah.
I mean, like, have Scotiabank Hockey tonight where you got to travel all over Canada. So you got to do Coach's Corner Saturday, and then you got to travel to wherever in Canada, whether it's Thompson, Manitoba, or fucking
these hick towns.
Trois-Rivières in Quebec,
like
wherever you want to go. Oh, exactly.
Even like Elliot Freeman used to host like the thing too. And it's like he was so good because he'd be able to keep everyone on pace, and he's still like throwing his 2 cents, which is good. But now it's like he's just like on the panel, like oh, that sucks.
He's like he'll just give his insight sometimes, and it's sweet when he gives his insight, but it's like it's just little tidbits.
Yeah.
And then you have
a non-hockey personality hosting a hockey show, the biggest hockey show in the world.
Yeah,
and he just doesn't work.
I feel like he doesn't even say anything. He just asks questions, like like yeah, but what do you think about this? Like, well, I think this. Like, but what does he think?
I feel like they give him a line about a player, like a stat, and then he just says the stat in a question to one of the people, and then the other people talk. Yeah.
I know. And the worst part is, before apparently he had like the best interviews of all time when he was running the. Was it like the
hour?
The hour?
And then, it was the hour with George Stroumboulopoulos, then just turned to Stroumboulopoulos.
Yeah, so like, apparently he was like, the number one interviewer, because he'd go out, do his research, find all these cool questions, ask these guys, like, oh, that's fun. They had interactive things. Now he's just in a position where it's like,
when I was a kid, he was on Much Music.
It's classic Sportsnet, though. Like, and we've talked about this here, where it's just they're not using the guys that they have. They're not using them in the correct positions. Like Strombo, get him to interview some of these guys, and the interviews would be unbelievable. Like I remember he had a few interviews with like Wayne Gretzky and Henrik Lundqvist, and those were really good interviews. Yeah. Don't have him the host. Have the host be Ron McLean or Elliot Friedman, guys that people resonate with hockey, not George Stroumboulopoulos.
Like, I don't want to sound sexist by saying this, because I'm not meaning it this way at all, but I'll watch TSN, SportsCenter with, like, Kate Burness. She'll do a better NHL, like, info bit than the guys on Sportsnet do. And she's not a big hockey personality. I think she's a basketball freak.
Yeah, she likes basketball.
Yeah, but she does a better job. It's like, come on, guys.
Well, and it's also, like... it's that general interest, too. Like, George Stroumboulopoulos probably grew up loving hockey, but he wasn't, like... He's not that guy that you know about.
I just know him as a music guy.
Exactly.
That's it. Maybe I think they're trying to... I think they're trying to draw... Like, because I think the new generation, right? Like, we're getting old, believe it or not. Only 24.
Don't say that. No,
at 24, and like people listening to this are like, I'm 30, and you think you're old. Fuck
24.
So like they want this like new young generation of kids to like draw to George Stroumboulopoulos somehow.
But like, I think they're trying to draw non-hockey people towards hockey.
True, yeah. Like, oh, you like music? George Stroumboulopoulos is doing the hockey.
Yeah, and if he does, it has to be good, right?
Yeah. But like I coached a 13-year-old hockey team. And even them, they're like, oh, we liked it more last year when it was just CBC and TSN. Because TSN's better. And, like, unfortunately, maybe this is just growing pains of Sportsnet, and I'm really hoping it is. Otherwise, the next, 12 years are going to be so long.
You think it's growing pains, like small little pains, and you're like, the pain never stops.
Just paralyzed.
Just like a growth plate out of position. Like, fuck. Yeah. TSN, we want you back.
Yeah. Like, at least the Jets still have TSN. That's one thing.
Yeah. I like the thing that I don't get is why I understand the money aspect from NHL, but don't you think they could like make out some sort of deal like the NFL has with NBC, CBS, and Fox where they all can show the same sport?
I don't see why not.
Like, I don't know why TSN, Sportsnet, and CBC can't all coincide, but it's
I don't know,
Bell versus Rogers, so it's like
it's not the them, it's actual like higher ups of them going like, no, we hate you.
We just don't like you at all.
I remember watching, it's like, hey, I'll try Sportsnet highlights, I'll try it a bit. They're talking about it was like, and they were doing a Leafs thing. They're doing a bit on the Leafs. And like, oh yeah, Bernier was playing tonight, and like they showed him make a save. And then they showed like, cut back to them talking, and they cut back to him, like, and he made this save in the game, like, that's a different game. They were different jerseys. Like, it wasn't even, like, the same colored jersey. Like, it was, like, one was a home game, one was away game. Like, that is not the same game. And I just turned it off and walked. I was like, this is, like, that's ridiculous. That's something that should not even come up. And, like, it was just so frustrating. Like, that's not even, like, it's not like they've never done hockey highlights. There's just something you should know at this point, right? So,
I feel like we could talk about Sportsnet and crap all over them for, like,
you've been doing this for how long?
It's bad.
So, good thing is, Saturday night, so all games from now on are on NBC.
Good to know.
So,
good.
Canadian fans, if you don't like Sportsnet, you can watch the rest of the games on NBC.
You can watch them on NBC?
Yeah, so it was just games. It was just games 3 and 4 that were not on NBC. They're on NBCSN.
Oh, really?
So from now on, they're on NBC
because
they're going to cut into those people who like watching whatever they have on. I think it's maybe The Voice or like Dance with Stars or whatever. They're going to cut into that showtime to show hockey playoffs.
And they've staggered the NBA finals with the NHL finals this year,
great.
which is smart.
Yeah,
they always should have done
off night, right? Like
pretty much.
Which they should have done all along. It's just
so like Friday and Sundays are NBA, and I think Tuesdays and. It works well.
It works
and that series that's a good series too.
LeBron James is about to cement his status as like one of the best of all time.
Or Curry's just going to come back and
what's that at 2-1?
Yeah,
2-1 for
Cleveland.
LeBron.
LeBron James has the most points in like the first 3 games ever in the NBA Finals.
You said it wrong. It's not Cleveland. It's just LeBron.
Yeah,
2-1 LeBron.
2-1 LeBron.
It's Curry versus LeBron. That's
the Cleveland
all
LeBrons.
They have.
Okay.
That's well.
Yeah, no, hey,
he totally came back to do one thing. What is he going to do after this? Go somewhere else? Like,
well, he's good when he goes when he leaves Cleveland. They're the worst team in the league every year. And the first year he's there, they're in the finals. He's just a freak.
He's been in the finals like 5 or 6 times in a row now. It's insane.
And Miami didn't even make the playoffs this year, I don't think.
Yeah.
So that shows you how good he is. Like.
And they have the same players pretty much.
Yeah,
except LeBron.
Except LeBron. Apparently, when you're that good, and that's actually an interesting point. Maybe circle back to it later, but I'll do it now instead.
Okay.
All right.
Is the whole, like, Sidney Crosby thing. Like, if you pull Sidney Crosby away from Pittsburgh for an entire year, not just injury-wise, would Pittsburgh be anywhere near as good as they are?
Yeah, because
or would they be better?
Did that 2 or 3 years ago when he didn't play for 7% of the year, and they were still...
Yeah. That's the thing with hockey. You don't, like...
You can't take one guy away.
One player could maybe win you a couple more games. I'll admit to, like, like 5 to 10 games. He probably drives that, but, like... The NBA, if you have one player, you can literally win a championship. That's what it is.
Oh,
like,
okay.
You don't. Whereas hockey, like that guy's only playing like 20 minutes at most a game, like a forward, right?
Mm-hmm. So it's so hard to score in hockey. Yeah. Basketball, they score every play. So I mean, if a guy can score 50 points,
that's true.
You know he's getting probably at least 30. Like
30 without even trying.
Yeah.
As long as he doesn't get dehydrated. That's like the big thing with LeBron, right? Is his dehydration.
Is that it?
Yeah, he gets like super dehydrated. Like he's a huge guy, right? And like
he's
he has to drink like gallons of water. It's like Brock Lesnar too, actually.
Oh really? He gets dehydrated.
Wrestling reference. Cam's not here, so throw one in.
Oh, poor Cam! I wish he was. I know Brock Lesnar. He used to be a UFC fighter. Now he's in the
actually, he was a wrestler. Right?
Yeah, he was WWE, and then he was
like undefeated as a wrestler back then. Like before he went to WWE or before
UFC.
Yeah,
and then he went from UFC. I remember watching his one UFC fight where he just got shit kicked, and then went back to the WWE after that. He's like, I'm done.
He was
a lot of people.
He was in the finals. He was like the champion for.
He was the champion.
Did he lose his title?
Yeah.
He lost his title.
He did.
That was the one fight I watched. I'm like, oh, Brock Lesnar might win. Oh, Brock Lesnar didn't win.
I think it's just he won because he was so big and so fast. Like,
and everyone thought he was gonna be terrible. And he was just so good.
I think he was good, but like his size, like a guy his size, and he could run like a 4.6.
Yeah.
Which is insane. Like I don't know if we have any football listeners as well. Like to run that is like as the guy who's like 6 foot what? How big do you think he is? Like 6'4", 6'5"?
He's got to be bigger than that. Like, how tall is John Cena? Because he's taller. Like he's like a head taller than John Cena.
He's a bit taller and he's a lot bigger.
Yeah.
And John Cena's a big guy.
Yeah.
And he ran that quickly, like because he tried off the NFL. It was like Minnesota.
Well, like Minnesota, The Rock tried out for fucking CFL.
The Rock played in the CFL.
Yeah, that's right, for Calgary Stampede.
And he got cut.
That's funny when you like.
I was watching wrestling like probably 2 years ago, and The Rock had his big comeback match. It was like the night after, and he's like talking about like how like his long road, and he's like, "I got cut from the CFL. You know how bad you have to suck to get cut from the CFL."
Then he's like, "Well, I thought about making a comeback in the XFL. Not really though, but."
Yeah, lots of
remember the XFL?
It was insane. They used to like the kickoff was just 2 guys running full speed. Like, someone was like paralyzed after that. Like the first game, man. It was like
it was entertaining to watch. It was an entertaining train wreck to watch.
It was. They were trying to suck in like the
rest of the
yeah, exactly.
Because who's a McMahon?
That's what it is. McMahon's like, I have to compete with WCW, so I'm going to make a football league. And then he's like, wait, I can just buy every wrestling company in the world. And that's what he did.
So. Yeah. So this went on a tangent.
What were we talking about 20 minutes ago?
So hockey.
Pissing.
Cup final. We mentioned game 1, Chicago won. Game 2, Tampa Bay won with a Bishop injury. Bishop comes back in Game 3, absolutely dominates. They win 3-2. Then Game 4, Bishop doesn't start. Vasilevsky starts. He didn't look terrible. Like, he didn't look awful.
He's a really good goalie, actually. Like, there's a reason he was a first-round pick.
Yeah.
He tore up the KHL last year. Like, he was, like, the top goalie as, like, a 19-year-old kid.
I think Bishop's, he'll be their guy for the next year or two, but I think he's on borrowed time.
It was funny. I was out yesterday after my hockey game having wings, and one of the guys is like, "Oh, Vasilevsky isn't the real thing. They've got Gizleskis." I was like, he had one good game with Latvia.
He had one good game against Canada. That's like 30 good games in the NHL.
Exactly. But like he's like, that's like the best Canada team ever. I'm like, well, okay. But really, if you're Steve Yzerman, you're laughing at who you have for goaltenders.
Yeah,
he's
pretty stacked.
Ben Bishop.
Like, he's money in the bank.
Is it Andre or Andre Vasilevsky, and then Christoph Skuzlevskis?
Yeah, some sort of Latvian.
Latvia.
Yeah, a lot of teams.
If you want to amuse yourself, go through their entire Latvian roster and try reading their names. It is hilarious.
But you know what? If he ever needs to clear up some cap space, he can always bring up some young goalies and get rid of Bishop. And
yeah, very true.
Make some things happen. I mean,
or trade Vasilevsky to Edmonton for
everything.
Yzerman's
they don't need. I know that's the thing.
Yzerman's not that dumb.
That's the funny thing. Like whenever you're looking at Edmonton, you're like, oh, what can we get from them? We don't want anything they have. Like they won't give up Hall. They might give up Eberle, but it'll be Hall, Nugent Hopkins, or Connor McDavid. That's it that people want. I'm sure. Yeah. Or Darnell Nurse, but they also won't give up Nurse.
I think that people would want Yakupov if they weren't giving up as much. He's still a really good player.
Yeah.
I know he looks terrible, and everyone's like, "Oh, first of all, pick bust." But he's like, again, that's one of those guys who played offense his whole career, comes into there and played like third line minutes. Like, so you're like, well, again, I'm Russian. I don't play defense in the first place,
and he's not on the best team, right?
Yeah,
like,
Who's his center this year? Can you name his center?
No,
it wasn't a recital for a while. Then it became Derek Roy.
Yeah, it was Roy.
And then when he started playing with Roy, though, he got like
he was playing well because Roy's actually a
and they're not going to
center.
sign Roy.
Yeah,
I saw that this week, so that's.
I guess they have depth down the middle, right? Were they going to put Roy at third?
But him and Yakupov have such good chemistry.
Because they probably want Recital to play next year.
Yeah.
Although, so Recital's coming into a situation now where he's going to be a third line center.
It's McClellan,
I think he's
so
better than that.
Probably picking his pieces. And
you know what? McClellan is also a way better coach than
But you look at Edmonton. I mean, I think a lot of those guys, they're on a good team. You notice a big difference.
Yeah.
Like, I mean...
Look what Hall and Eberle did in the World Championships.
Compared to Tyler Myers, when the Jets traded for him, everyone's like, why do you want him? He's washed up. He's done. He comes to a decent team, and look how good he was.
And that could also be
people are like, oh, he's back to the player he was 3 or 4 years ago.
You're playing competitive hockey makes such a
difference.
difference.
Yeah, so I think if a lot of those Edmonton guys went to a competitive team, you'd see a big difference.
And, like, change of scenery does a lot for a player, too, right? Like,
fresh start.
When Joffrey Lupul got traded to the Leafs, like, he was playing really well. And that's what he needs again, is he needs a fresh start and to maybe not be made of glass.
Well, Chris Pronger isn't in the league anymore, so they're not going to be able to trade for him for the 4th time in his career. Remember when he got traded to the Leafs? He's like, I'm just glad I wasn't traded for Chris Pronger again. Like, this is getting ridiculous. He was like twice in a row he's traded for Chris Pronger. It's from Edmonton to Anaheim. Oh, Anaheim traded him to Edmonton. And then Edmonton, it was like, I don't even know how it worked out.
So I think what happened was he was a part of the Philly trade. I think somehow he was part of the Pronger Philly trade, I'm pretty sure, and part of the Anaheim Edmonton trade.
He went from Edmonton to Philly, and then he went from
he went to Edmonton. He went from
Anaheim to Edmonton to Philly, back to Anaheim to Toronto.
Yes.
I think is the way it worked.
No, wait. No, because he wasn't it was because he was in where was Chris Pronger before?
Was he in St. Louis? St. Louis.
No,
yeah, he was St. Louis
before
with Al McInnes. It was him and Al McInnes for like his rookie year.
Yeah, I don't. It was. Anyways, that was the thing. And
it's a really long time ago.
Look it up if you want.
We were like so young back then.
Oh man. I just want to say one thing about this game. Chicago had 2 shots on goal in the first period, which is an NHL record for the least amount of shots on goal in a Stanley Cup Final. Period. Like one period of.
Yeah, that was game 3 or 4.
It was game 4 last night. They had 2 shots in the first period.
And they won.
They still won.
And they won.
Off of a very just shows you put the puck to the net and good things can happen.
It was like a broken kind of play, wasn't it?
Yeah,
like,
and Vasilevsky came across and just it went through 5-hole.
It looked like Saad kind of miffed on it. Like he looked like he wanted to shoot it high, and it just kind of trickled 5-hole on him. But
it's one of those things.
Can't blame Vasilevsky at all last night. He played well.
So, yeah, and you're coming in. It's okay.
You haven't played in like 2 months.
You can't even say that you got nerves out of the way in Game 2 because there's no way he got his nerves out of the way. So he's nervous going in Game 4. His team's got a 2-1 lead. So Now the big question is, who plays Game 5 for Tampa?
I would stick with the kid, man.
Why not?
Personally, I would just, like, he didn't lose you the last game. Like, I mean, if you don't think Bishop's going to play a full game, do you really want to risk throwing Vasilevsky in cold again? Like, hey, you got lucky in Game 2, but if it happens in Game... Like, it's, like, this is great. Anyways, also forgot to mention, as well, this is the first Stanley Cup Final since 1968 for the first 4 games to be 1-goal games.
Really?
Yeah. All 4 1-goal games.
Holy moly.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
It's definitely exciting to watch. Definitely.
This is a series that I wanted once the conference finals were announced, but this is definitely turning out to be probably one of the best Stanley Cup Finals in recent memory because there's not one team dominating like LA.
Because if LA is in the final, it's an ass-kicking of epic proportions. Yeah.
They just pick and choose which games they want to win, which games they want to lose. And I feel that the Chicago-Boston series was good, but it's nowhere near the level of this series.
It wasn't Chicago-Boston. It was.
There's a little bit of
very average.
But the other thing too, and I think where this series differs from that Chicago-Boston series is the fact that both teams can score at will. And I never felt that way with Boston. I always felt they were more built like a West team where they have their goalie and they never.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
If they can score first, if they have a lead, they'll hold it or play really well to hold it. And with Tampa, we can score at will because, we have Stamkos. Apparently, Kaloran's starting to score. We have Callahan. And the list goes on. Like, it's pretty insane what they have.
It's nice to see 2 offensively minded teams in the final.
So now it's down to a best of 3 for Stanley Cup Final, and I don't think anyone could ask for anything better. So what are we thinking? Is it still going to end in 7, 6?
If Chicago wins the next game, it's over in 6.
It's in Tampa though, but
yes,
my money's on Tampa. I really want to see.
I would love to see them win.
I want to go. I want them to just go.
Game 7 would be so cool, man. Yeah. And that's especially
next Wednesday.
Like, it'll be, and apparently if it goes to Game 7, it'll actually be summer hockey. I think like next week's like the first official day of summer.
Oh my god!
So like it'll actually be hockey in the summertime.
That's awesome. Although Tampa Bay, they get hockey in the summertime all year round because they don't have seasons there.
True.
It's just it's a little bit colder in December than it is in July.
It'd be nice.
It's bearable.
It'd be nice to see Chicago win a Stanley Cup at home.
No, they haven't yet
because they neglect to do that every time. They're like, no, we'll win it in 6. It's fine.
This time, if they win it in 6, it will be at home. So,
yes. So,
a little different.
You know what? Either way, whatever happens.
I would love to see.
It's been fun to watch.
You know what? Just because it's Chicago, they're going to end up winning in 7, just so they don't win at home and stop Tampa from winning at home.
And they'll win it in overtime or in the last minute, just like they did the last 2 times.
I still remember, was it 2013, I guess, when Chicago won, and they scored 2 goals, in a minute.
Boston was winning 1-0 with 59 seconds to go, and Chicago scored twice in 12 seconds, and they won.
I still remember when Dave Bolin scored that goal. He threw off his gloves because he's like, "Yeah, we win."
Well, didn't he? One got smashed
win,
up,
and
didn't he? He came up, he's got one glove on. I was like, "Yeah." I was like, I can't even. Can you imagine being them and just being like, "Oh my god, that just happened."
Dave Talon was watching. He's like $6 million. So okay, yep, you betcha.
Yeah, oh yeah.
No,
that goal was worth $6 million.
Toronto was like, that's worth a second and a third round.
Oh yeah, I forgot he was in Toronto.
And then you won't even play any games because you'll get hurt.
That's right. I forgot about
that. That's what Boston deserves after what they did to Toronto that year. That's what they deserve.
Payback.
Technically, no, they won the. Oh, no, they didn't. Right?
They did not win it that year. That was
the year they won it. Was Caberlet played for them?
Yeah,
the Leafs traded away. Yeah, remember
that was interesting. He wore number 12.
Yeah.
Still remember that.
And he was terrible for them.
I cheered for Boston to win that because I hate Vancouver so much.
I didn't. You know what?
Do you think now Boston regrets that trade, giving up Wheeler and Stewart for Caberlet?
That wasn't
it.
No, but they got rid of those 2 guys to make room for Caberlet.
Oh, that's right.
Do you think they regret that trade
Probably.
now? You know what? I don't know if
they won a cup.
They have guys that are like Stewart though. The Stewart is not true. That one. They had the only Wheeler's kind of I guess a better version of Milan Lucic, kind of bigger.
He's
body.
more of a. I just feel like he'd get them more goals, which is sometimes that they struggle for. But he's not. He's not a star. So
yeah. Although,
I just wonder if they regret that trade at all.
No, you get a Stanley Cup out of it, technically, right?
It's not, you can't.
Technically, no, they actually do. Their name is there forever.
That trade, I guess, it sounds like Caberlet didn't do anything, though. That was the worst part. And they traded away. Yeah. It's a first-round pick.
It's okay, Toronto didn't get anything for it.
No, like,
they ended up trading it for like Tyler Biggs, I think.
Yeah, they did. They traded, and you know who Anaheim? They traded with Anaheim. Eh?
Yeah.
Anaheim got Rickard Raquel and John Gibson.
That's right.
Those 2 picks.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. I couldn't believe it. It was like, and then to move up like 6 picks to get a guy who sucks so bad.
Will
right
never play
in the NHL. He was just a straight. Everyone knew like, oh, Brian Burks loves these guys. We're gonna pretend like we want this guy,
yeah, exactly.
so that he'll have to trade up. And then, it was the worst. They knew how to play Brian Burke in that situation, but.
Unfortunately.
Trade,
it was...
Lupul trade, by the way. I gotta say this before we forget. Originally, he was drafted by, I guess, Edmonton. So he got traded from Edmonton to the Ducks for Chris Pronger. It was him, Ladislav Smeed, a first-round pick, a second-round pick, and a conditional first-round pick, who turned into Jordan Epperle, so not bad.
Oh, wow. I did not know that.
Yeah, because it was if the Ducks won the Stanley Cup, or reached the Cup, because that was the year they didn't win it.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, interesting.
And then after that, he got traded from the Oilers to Philadelphia for Yanni Pikkinen, Jeff Sanderson.
Great players.
Yeah.
Definitely still playing today. Actually, Pitkanen finished his career in Carolina, I believe.
He's still technically. Is he playing still? Like
he might be.
Yeah, I think he's around.
Nobody really knows what happens in Carolina.
Yeah,
they have all these young guys, and then they have old guys.
If I watch one of their games, I'd be like, he still plays hockey.
Let's be real here. It was like Andre Sekera. Like I didn't even realize he was still playing.
Yeah, no, I was
He'll get signed with New Jersey next year. Any guy over 35 is going to New Jersey.
You think so? I think they're finally because
they're going to start.
I hope they read. Like God, they just. Okay, man. Okay, who does nobody want? It's like the end of free agency. We gotta sign. So we don't have enough players. We gotta sign people. We'll sign these old guys to these contracts.
They'll do what Florida did like 4 years ago, and they signed like 12 guys on one day, and it's all these like washed up guys. But they're like, "Hey, we signed 12 guys."
Yeah,
Thomas Fleischman for $4 million a year.
Tom Gilbert.
He was good for a year though.
Scotty Upshaw, Sean Bergen. They signed like 10 third-line hockey players in one day.
Yeah,
I was like, "What are you doing?"
And they make the playoffs the next year.
They made the playoffs.
Yeah. That's the thing. You gotta get third liners, man.
Those grinders.
That was just to make the cap floor, right? Because they had nobody in the roster.
And they won the Southeast Division. Like
it's okay.
God.
They have Luongo now. They don't need to worry about ever hitting the cap floor. They're fine for lots of years. Just something I wanted to note. Apparently, his name escapes me. Wedding Crashers guy, that actor, Vince Vaughn, bought John Cooper dinner.
Yeah, and the time before that's CM Punk.
Oh, really?
He bought the game before that. He bought John Cooper dinner. So, like, John Cooper is not paid for a meal.
That's awesome.
Because they won, or Tampa Bay won, or
I don't know.
Just because they're being nice.
A mind game thing. I think it's like that's my opinion. Like Vince Vaughn, like he loves the Blackhawks.
He's huge.
CM Punk, he loves him too. So I think he just like, hey, John Cooper, here, take this. He's like, what is this?
We're gonna kick your ass, so I'll buy you food.
Yeah.
Except they're not kicking us.
I didn't realize CM Punk was that big of a.
He's from Chicago.
Yeah, but I didn't realize he's that big of a Hawks fan.
He's a wrestler, right?
Yeah.
He used to be a wrestler.
Now he's in MMA. He made that transition.
He always calls the Winnipeg Jets the Atlanta Thrashers.
Just because?
He's walked off on set on Landsberg.
OTR?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, but Punk's kind of he'll say what he wants to say and doesn't really give a shit kind of guy.
It's hilarious
whenever... Landsberg's like the biggest dick in media. So.
Too classic.
He knows how to piss people off. He asks like the right questions. Like one of his questions, because CM Punk was transferring from wrestling to MMA, and they're like, a lot of people are saying you're just not a good enough fighter to be able to compete in the MMA. What do you think? He's like, well, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be able to compete. No, but like these critics are pretty spot on with these things. So like they're going to say you're going to suck. He's like, who are your critics? Like who's your sources? He's like, I have my people. He's like, so you, Michael Landsberg, you think I'm going to suck?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Good interview. It was entertaining to watch.
But yeah, I didn't realize CM Punk was a huge Hawks fan, but it's one of those things. You're from Chicago. You're a fan of all those teams.
Yeah, him and Hulk Hogan are having a Twitter war because Hulk Hogan lives in Tampa apparently and is a huge Lightning fan. Punk told him like he'd kick his old fucking ass or something. I don't know.
That's funny.
Pretty
Although like
vulgar stuff.
Really, it's great to see the hockey that hockey's growing in Tampa the way it is. Like that arena's actually been pretty good for the last.
They won't sell tickets to Chicago fans, eh? Like Tampa will not let Chicago fans.
Ticketmaster, you had to be in Florida to buy tickets.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
and they wouldn't let you wear the first game. They wouldn't let you wear a Hawks jersey. They were trying to prevent you from. I've heard stories about Tampa Bay doing that. Actually, I heard a story The first year the Jets came back, Chris Jericho, he lives in Tampa, him and his kids, Tampa gave him free tickets to go to the Jets game that was there that year. But he got there and they're like, you have to. They're like, here's your tickets, but and then they gave him a Tampa jersey. Like, you have to wear this. And he was wearing a Jets jersey, like an old Jets jersey. And he handed them the tickets back. He's like, I'll go buy my own. And he's like, no, I'm wearing a Jets jersey.
Yeah.
So I've heard stories about Tampa Bay.
That's
being.
They're trying to spread their brand.
Well,
right,
course,
and like, to be honest, they've got that jersey's pretty nice. And I think they're really starting to spread a good brand there in Tampa.
You like the bolts?
Oh, I love
really?
not the bolts, but I love their logo.
Like when it just says bolts.
No, that's dumb. That's silly.
The stupidest thing ever.
We're not talking about their thirds. Okay. We're talking about their actual jerseys.
At what point do you draw the line? Like, you're telling a famous professional wrestler,
if they can sell it,
he's like, no, you can't wear that jersey. And he's like, get your tickets back.
Yeah, but here's the thing: they made money that day because of it.
If you give someone tickets, though, do you really want them to be like, "Hey, here's tickets to come to our game and not cheer for our team"?
Yeah,
I guess like if he's paying for it, then okay, you can't do anything. But if you're bringing the celebrity to your game, you're hoping he promotes your team, right?
Yeah, that's fair. I get that, but
at the same time,
I thought it was a hilarious story because he has a podcast and he was talking about it. I'm like, that's pretty funny.
I think it's well known that Justin Bieber's a Leaf fan, but it's like him when he came to the MTS Center wearing a Leaf jersey. They wouldn't allow it. Yeah. They're like, here's a Jets jersey. I understand that, yeah. But I just wanted to make that.
He's the worst person ever, and he stands all over logos.
Oh my god! After the Hawks one in 2013, he stood on the logo.
Just like almost pissing on the logo. It didn't actually.
No.
Yeah. And then after that, there was like a picture right afterwards, and like combs around the logo. It's like,
people on the internet are hilarious.
Oh yeah,
they're the best.
They'll explode about it. It's insane.
Man, the invention of Photoshop was like the best invention ever. Yeah. Oh, for those things. So, now to move off of the Cup Final, we'll go into the NHL mailbag. Some things to talk about. The biggest news is there's a fiasco going on in Glendale, Arizona.
What? No way.
You mean like the most profitable NHL team might not be there anymore?
The most diehard franchise in the history of the NHL is their problems? What?
You know what? Here's the solution. You move it to Las Vegas for 2 years, let the Quebec Arena get built, and then you move the team from Las Vegas to Quebec. Because it'll take 2 years for everyone to realize that hockey's not going to work in Las Vegas. And this way, Glendale just gets rid of it, because apparently not only the city, but like the city's fucking over taxpayers, they're fucking over everyone. And now...
Do we want, like, the...
Yeah, give us the info, because I don't understand.
Allegedly what the fiasco is the city of Glendale wants to cancel the lease agreement that the Coyotes have with Gila River Arena.
Okay.
Because allegedly the city gives the Coyotes $15 million a year funding. That was what that whole fiasco was 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Allegedly, the Coyotes or Ice Arizona, who owns the Coyotes, have spent that $50 million paying off debts that are not related to the arena. So the city council is now not wanting to cancel the lease agreement because the money they're giving them to pay for the arena, they're using it elsewhere. So
I read a funny tweet yesterday. They're like, breaking, the World Juniors will not be held ever in Arizona.
But actually, they had a city council meeting last night, and they actually did vote to cancel it.
Yeah.
So, like,
Ice Arizona is going to file laws. They're going to fight it to the death, but...
Well, like, you can't use money that's intended for something else. That's illegal. But
apparently they have grounds to actually, like, there's a legitimate reason. Like, they can cancel this. And
and it's
legal. And they have voted to cancel, so I don't know if that... Like, what are the Coyotes going to do if that...
We might be in an NHL with 29 teams next year, which means both Max Domi, Anthony Duclair, and their third overall pick go to Toronto. That's what happens. Oh, yeah. And Oliver Ekman-Larsson. There you go. Everyone else can be dispersed.
I think this saga drags on and on and on, and then they're just like, Thrashers, Winnipeg, you can have them. Like, you gave up a team so easily. Why are you fighting so hard for a franchise that was just honestly worse off than the Thrashers were? They were worse, and you're fighting
it's too hard to keep.
Why? What's
it's
the
Gary
point?
Bettman. Like, he even said, like, oh no, because he went on. I heard like that he went on. He's like, no, they're gonna keep that team. They're not moving and stuff like that. It's like, Gary, like, we get it. You don't want to admit you screwed up, but Like, just let it go. Like, we're so sick of this. Every year, it's like, what, every 2 years?
Yeah.
Oh, what's going to happen to Arizona or Phoenix or whatever they are?
It's funny because, like, there's been mistakes before. Like, there were places that didn't work for hockey. And it's, like, documented. Atlanta's not a good place. There was a team in Cleveland at one point. Mm-hmm. There was a California Golden Seals. There's places that, you know, it's just not viable at the time or ever. Like, and what's wrong with moving? Like, even Kansas City had a team. Kansas City could be a viable market. Now, Seattle could be a viable market.
I think Seattle's... They were saying, like, it's Seattle or Las Vegas that'll get the team next. And I don't know. I mean, like, I'm not opposed to either one of those teams. They seem like pretty good sports cities, right? Like, Seattle's pretty... Like, I know football and baseball are huge there, but I think they could really support, an NHL team.
And you think about how successful the Jets have been. Like, how successful that franchise, as a franchise, not on the ice, but, like, financially, how well they've done in 3-4 years.
And it's just that one, like, change to somewhere.
Like, Bettman was here during the playoffs, and he's commented how well, like, how good of an idea it was. So why can't you move your prized possession baby team that you moved from Winnipeg that you probably, I guess he can.
He regrets it. I think he still regrets that.
And it's not his idea, right? Was it his idea to bring the Jets back? Or
no.
Was it, like, it really, because it was like, okay.
I think the Atlanta owners are like, we don't want the team. And he's like, well, the only person that I can give a team to is Mark Chipman. I'm pretty sure
it's not Jim Balsillie, that's for sure.
You know, I'm sure if he had,
is he not the owner anymore? Right?
No, he can't do anything. Oh, he's blackballed from, I think, buying a team because Bettman hates him.
Didn't he sell season tickets before they while they were in while the Penguins were still
trying to get them to Hamilton? But on the note of Seattle, like, the right marketing, because if you think about, like, the 12th man in Seattle is huge. Yeah. Like, Seattle loves the Seahawks, but the Mariners are also a big team there. And it's just the right marketing campaign, and people will watch it. And plus, you also have, like, this... Washington is a good hockey state.
It's close enough to, like, Canada, too, right?
It's a 2-hour drive from Vancouver.
You still have you'd have a good rivalry, kind of Minnesota-Winnipeg thing. Get Vancouver-Seattle, right?
Exactly.
Something like that. That would be...
And, you know what? With the team they'd be getting, it'd be sort of the situation that Winnipeg had, where they're not getting a great team at first, but they're going to get a good pool of prospects. Anthony Duclair, Max Domi, Oliver Ekman-Larsson, whoever they pick this year, most likely Dylan Strome, Noah Hannafin. They're going to have a good pool of prospects. Goaltending might be their issue, but...
They got some prospects. They got Mark Vizintin still coming up. They're not...
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like he's the best prospect, but it's not like you're completely pooched, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Lots of potential.
There is,
which is what Trudeau saw in the Thrashers, and that's what
made them go after
whoever in Seattle could see in Coyotes.
I think their big obstacle is an arena, right?
Don't they have an arena?
Their arena's made for basketball, so it'd be a little tricky.
Was it?
But
because I remember the Supersonics left because the arena was done. Like, they had to build a new one, and I heard they built a new one. They're building a new one to accommodate basketball.
They did build a new one. Actually,
okay.
Yeah, maybe it is. Yeah,
maybe it accommodates both.
That's like the three criteria Bettman has for, like, a team getting a city getting, or it's like you need an owner who has money, you need an arena, and you need to be able to, like, sell tickets. Mm-hmm. So, like, you need like a market for it.
Yeah.
And that's the worst part is he's fighting for, like, Phoenix, who has, like, one of those things. It's like, you have a nice arena.
They have a very nice arena.
Very nice arena.
Nice.
Their owners have no money.
They're like, the owners, the guys who own the team now, had tried buying 3 teams before this, and Bettman's like, you don't have enough money, so we're going with the guy who has more money. It was like, I think it was Florida, Tampa Bay, and I want to say New Jersey as well. Like, those 3 teams, these guys tried buying him. He's like, okay, well, I'm going to go with the rich guys who have more money. Like, apparently the guy who owns a part of the Coyotes only has, like, $100 million to his name. Which, I mean, don't get me wrong.
Only $100 million.
$100 million is a lot of money, but, like, to own a sports franchise...
But, I mean,
that's not a lot.
The Thrashers cost $140 million, $120 million or something.
Yeah, so you have to be able to pay, if, like, especially when you're hemorrhaging money like the Coyotes are.
Yeah.
When your net losses are like $14 million a year, you need some money.
Yeah, and there's always a gamble that Seattle might not work very well.
True.
You know,
and
it's not Winnipeg where you know you're going to make.
It's not. It's also a smaller gamble than Las Vegas.
Yes, I feel like a team
because Las Vegas is gambling. I get it.
An NHL team in Vegas is a tourist attraction, and that can't
last.
You can't build
I don't know what's it like outside of Las Vegas. I've never
outside of the Strip. You mean?
Yeah, like I mean, I don't.
They have decent like they have more people that live in the actual city of Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Than Winnipeg does
really?
in the surrounding area. They have like 2.1 million people.
That's a lot of.
It's a huge city.
But is it marketable for hockey? And that's the thing.
I mean, 2.1 million. You only need 20,000 of those people to go to a game.
And apparently they've had 15,000 people commit to season tickets, or 12,000.
That's okay. I don't think that's
okay. Well, maybe
if you're doing the Jets thing where you're locked in for 5 years, why not? Right?
Why not?
I mean, like, especially if you get a
and then you
Phoenix or Arizona can be a good team. Like it's not like they were in the playoffs like 2 years ago, right?
Yeah. They were almost in the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, they were in the conference finals, right?
Yeah.
And they lost to.
They got killed by the champion of champions.
Yeah, because Dustin Brown's a dirty player. he like kneed the guy across the blue line. And
I remember.
Yeah, and then like they're like, "What? That's not a penalty." And he's like, and then like he went and scored the game winner. It's like, oh.
I remember that year because I was here that they got Carter and Richards, and they already had a stacked team before that. I'm like, okay, they're winning the cup this year, and then they barely made the playoffs. I'm like, what the hell's going on? And then in the playoffs, I'm like, okay, there it is. There it is.
That's the team.
One of my I don't know if it was that year, but it was one of the years when Chicago and LA played. One of my favorite moments was when Keith just goes high stick right to Jeff Carter in the teeth.
Yeah, that was last year, wasn't it? And he just like it wasn't even like a play. It was happening on the blue line. He's just like wham. It's like and it's like he was like huge cut. I was like, holy fuck, man.
And Keith didn't even care. He's like, whatever. That's the way he plays. But yeah, you know what? If Las Vegas works, great. And you know what? If they can get 15,000 season ticket holders that commit for a long term. Then they can easily fill the arena with tourists and with people that were going to walk up tickets. And
you don't have any competition. You have zero competition for sports teams in that sense.
And that's the good thing.
Imagine you're just being like, oh man, I'm super hammered in Vegas. What do you want to do? It's like, oh, let's go watch a hockey game. It's like, whatever. Yeah. What can be the worst thing they have, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And like I could see places just being like, hey, we'll give you free tickets for if you buy like 2 beers at the rink.
Yeah.
Like they do for strip clubs there. That's how they get you.
I can see it working for a few years. I don't know about long-term longevity, but
maybe it's a short-term fix for the Coyotes until they find a permanent home. Yeah. But you know what? Whatever, it could pay off.
Be a pretty cool road trip to go see a game down there.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, let's just go watch the Jets are playing in Las Vegas. I'm gonna go down for the week, and it's like, how cheap it is to fly to Vegas.
Yeah.
It is insanely cheap. Like, you can pay that like $80 round trip if you could fly from Fargo.
It's ridiculous. Yeah. The best part, like, if you want to, you can make, like, let's say, hypothetically, they're playing, like, Winnipeg and, like, LA in a weekend, like, Friday, Saturday, back to, like, how do you not go there on a Thursday and stay till Sunday?
For sure.
Because you can...
I feel like it'll be like Florida. If you ever watch a Florida game, if they're playing, I don't know, Nashville, St. Louis, no one there. If you're playing Vancouver, Winnipeg, it's full.
Yeah.
You know.
Traveling fans.
So I think it'll be somewhat like that.
But no, and you know what? I think it could work out. It's just I like Seattle or Kansas City as viable markets, but
I also want Quebec to have a team. Like they'd be the same thing as Winnipeg. Right? We lost our team. We're never letting that happen again. Right?
Yeah.
Like no, we're just gonna hold these tight. Yeah. And just keep them.
Yeah, exactly.
How funny! Colorado back.
No, Colorado's doing so well though.
Oh no! Yeah.
I want to make.
Like, can't get rid of the Avalanche. We grew up with that team.
My question to you would be, Mark, if Columbus were to move to Quebec, would he cheer for Quebec? Because he's such a diehard Columbus
I think he
fan.
would probably, yeah. He loves Columbus. it's insane. Like
the weirdest like fan love.
Hey, I was Columbus. A Thrasher fan.
That's true.
I'm well, it's the same thing with us in the Leafs, right?
Yeah.
I'm a Leafs fan, but I wear Dallas stuff because my favorite player is Jamie Benn.
How can you not like Jamie Benn?
He's just great.
You can't not.
The first game I saw him play, I really noticed him. He fought Jerome McGinley. I was like, I love you. That's it. Because he was like beating Jerome McGinley, and Jerome McGinley, like after a while, he's like, hey, now you're tired, and you started beating on Jamie Benn.
But yeah, it's Jamie Benn, and he led the league this year. Like I started liking him before
he
was that good.
He scored 4 points in the last 3 minutes of the game because he knew he needed to, or 2 points in the last 3 minutes.
The celebration was the best. The whole team erupted like they won the Stanley Cup. Yeah. Oh, he got it! Holy shit! Yeah, it was crazy.
And I was like, "You're the first winner to not have 90 points since like the 90s."
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's
in like 20 years, and it's supposed to be
like
that
year that there was a 3-way tie for the Richard, and it was like 41 goals. It was Kovalchuk, Nash, and Iginla, I think.
Oh, okay.
It's like 04. It was like right for the lockout. It was 41 goals.
Yeah. And then you have Ovechkin who just puts up 50 every year. Or Stamkos will score 60, or Corey Perry will put up 50. Like,
Yeah.
That's one of the good things about like the era we live in. It's not dominated by one player, but it's a group of guys who kind of like switch off every year. They're like, okay, this year I'll let you get the Morris or Richard, and like
you can have it this year.
Yeah. Any other news? Noteworthy signings, coaches.
Couple things. Red Wings hired Jeff Blashill as their new head coach. He coached the Grand Rapids Griffins.
Okay.
He's the second youngest coach in the NHL. Actually, he's 41. Youngest is John Hines, who was hired by New Jersey this year or last month. So.
Where was he hired from? Wilkes-Barre or something? Where was he before?
Yeah, he was
the New Jersey guy was Wilkes-Barre.
They had to give up a pick for him as well, right?
And
this
Toronto
pick compensation
Toronto apparently is not giving up a pick for Babcock.
They're not.
Oh, okay.
That's good. I think it's kind of ridiculous. Like, especially when he's gonna be a free agent anyway. Like, what do you have? Yeah. Why should you have to give him?
Yeah, you're paying your coach $6.5 million a year. That's penalty enough. Yeah. Like he's a great coach, but that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's more money than I'll ever see in my lifetime.
Chris Chelios also is interested in joining the Red Wings coaching staff. So.
That would be good for him.
Yeah, and the Red Wings put out an alert this week. They will not re-sign Eric Cole. I don't know if that's...
Yeah, a veteran player. He could go fit in somewhere.
Yep.
I don't know where, but he could go play somewhere.
The NHL Combine was last week in Buffalo.
Yeah.
Jack Eichel finished in the top 10 in 7 categories, which was the most of any player. Connor McDavid only finished in the top 10 twice.
Ooh.
He's not.
Where was he in the top 10? Do we know? Do we know if he was like the number one?
I don't know how high he was.
I guess it's pretty physical, right? It's not necessarily.
It's not on ice skill. It's
Have you ever seen Connor McDavid? He has nothing to him. He has a little bit of muscle maybe, but he's definitely like skin and bones.
Who was it that couldn't do a chin up last year?
Sam Bennett.
Sam Bennett. Yeah. I mean, he still got drafted. So, like, it's one of those things, like, eventually he's going to become...
Yeah, you're 18 years old. Yeah. Like, when you're 22, we'll see how thick he is at that point.
Like, when I graduated high school, I was short. Now I'm tall.
That is very true.
I was once kind of skinny. Now I'm sort of fat. Yeah. You change. Your body changes over years.
Maybe that's a good sign for Buffalo, though. The Combine was in Buffalo. Jack Eichel is probably going to Buffalo. You know,
I think...
they actually opted not to interview Connor McDavid at all.
Yeah, I thought that was hilarious.
They said it's a waste of our time. He's a good kid. If we have to pick him, we'll pick him.
If we have to. It's like it's a burden.
Well, he didn't say that.
It's a burden.
He said if Edmonton picks Eichel, we know McDavid's a good kid, we'll take him. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah. Or let him slide to Toronto. Like, I'm totally okay with McDavid going forth.
Ottawa signed Dave Cameron to a 2-year contract extension.
That's good for them.
Yeah. They went 32, 15, and 8 with him. And he took over in December, and they went 23, 4, and 4 at the end of the year to make the playoffs. So
he's good with the young guys. Like a lot of those younger players, he did really well with them. So.
And that's
he reminds me of Paul Maurice. He's pretty reserved, but if he doesn't see something he doesn't like, he will rip into you.
He's pretty funny too. Have you seen any of his interviews in the playoffs? There, he's fun to.
Yeah, he was good. He was good. What else? Ottawa. Brian Murray says most of the interest has been in Robin Leonard, but he's still open to trading Greg Anderson.
Okay.
I don't know who you would... If you had to move one of those two guys...
Yeah, who do you move?
I think you get more for Anderson, obviously, because he's proven.
Anderson's numbers were better than Leonard's.
Who's older? Like, how... Oh, sorry, I know Craig Anderson's older, but how old is Craig Anderson? 31?
34.
34. So he would have to go to a team...
I think he's in the last year of his contract, too, if I do believe.
I'm not sure.
Team that would maybe trade for him? St. Louis. Because they have goalie issues there.
Yeah.
I think they need a star goalie though, like
Brian Elliott back to Ottawa.
I just like he puts up really good numbers and stuff, but like they don't. It's the thing every playoffs. Like, who are we gonna start? Start? Get a guy. Okay, you're the number one goalie. We're gonna ride you to the bitter end. Like that, we're not worried about it. We'll flip flop and stuff like that.
Well, they had Ryan Miller, decided not to sign him, and maybe
he didn't work out well there. Like, he was terrible.
Yeah,
maybe Jake Allen's the guy. And maybe he needs a year of development as the number one to be the guy. But
because I think Brian Elliott probably played more games than him this year, I would say.
But then they also had Brodeur come in because...
But Allen played the playoffs.
So. Yeah.
And he sucked in that last game. He let in 2 really bad goals.
That is true. Mm-hmm. But another goalie maybe on the market, Devin Dubnyk. Apparently Minnesota's having problems signing him.
Because he wants all the money.
They're very cap strapped. They want to buy out Nicholas Backstrom, but he needs elbow surgery, and you can't buy out someone who's injured.
Because of hockey, right?
They're having a hard time coming to a contract. Bob McKenzie is the one who reported this. He said San Jose might be a team willing to pay big money for Devin Dubnyk.
And then what do you do with Antoniemi? Or is he off contract?
He's a free agent.
Is he a free agent? That's
agent.
right. But they also have Alex Stalock, which is interesting.
I don't believe in him.
But you don't?
I don't.
You don't want to trust
him. Give him a few
him.
years as a backup.
Yeah.
Let him
maybe
build up a little bit. Yeah, I don't know if he's quite ready to be the starter.
I don't believe in Dubnyk, to tell you the truth. Don't get me wrong. You played good for. He played unreal for them, but he was in the AHL last year. He was terrible.
He was the goalie that everyone made fun of.
Oh, he got traded
exactly.
He got traded 3 times last year.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous. There's goalies that do this. The same thing with the Hamburglar. He got hot. He got a decent contract. Not a big one. He's at 1.5 a year or something like that. But I don't know, man. I just don't think.
You never know.
Do you guys think Dubnyk's going to win the Vezina?
No.
Who's
he up against?
Rene.
It's Carey Price.
Oh, yeah, never mind.
Carey Price, Rene.
I take back my argument.
Yes.
What else we got? A couple of coaches who are in question for next year. Bruce Boudreau will be back with Anaheim.
Okay.
They did fire their assistant coach, Brad Lauer, though. They actually were hired together in 2011, so that's kind of interesting. And Claude Julien will be back in Boston next year. He's been in Boston for 8 years, so he is now the longest tenured coach with one team in the NHL because Mike Babcock is no longer in Detroit.
Interesting.
8 years.
See, and if you've been listening to this, Dan did research today.
I looked up stuff.
What happens when you leave? Dan does stuff.
I do work.
I still don't do anything.
I pick it up when I have to. What else we got? Just some quick tidbits. Kings are still trying to trade Mike Richards very hard, apparently, but apparently that's not any easier now than it was during the year. Pierre LeBrun says they'll probably have to throw in a high draft pick or a good prospect to entice someone to take that contract.
Really?
He's got $5.75 million for 5 years still.
Yeah,
that's the thing with the new CBA we're talking about. If you take on a contract, and he retires, but it still reverts back to LA. It's the weirdest. It's
still LA.
It's LA's still paying for it in the end. I don't know. I wonder what happened because he was a good player. He wasn't.
He was great.
Something must have happened.
I've heard his conditioning and his dedication to being his fitness level is not good.
That's what it is, eh?
And
he did a lot of cocaine as well.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Very well.
We have to say allegedly.
Allegedly.
We cannot confirm or deny anything on the podcast.
Alleged Alley says.
Allegedly, yeah. That's why him and Carter got traded out of Philly because he had who was the coach at the time? Who's the
Cameron's yelling right now because he knows who it is.
Laviolette. Laviolette was both you guys need to sign a contract saying you're not doing drugs. And then locker rooms, everybody signed it except 2 people. And they never said which 2 people, but then the next week, both those guys were gone. It's wonder
who. It wasn't Claude Giroux.
Yeah. Too busy touching butts.
Couple of little things about the Jets because we are a Jet-centric podcast, even though I bet you couldn't tell with today's episode.
We haven't talked about the Jets in 2 months.
I know, because they haven't been relevant. But Gagliardi is now into the Swiss League, I believe.
I saw that.
And Chase DeLeo signed a 3-year entry-level contract. We'll probably play with Manitoba next year in the AHL, which is kind of interesting.
Is he old enough?
Yeah, he's done in CHL.
You sure? Okay, that's weird.
Maybe he's got one more year.
He was drafted in 2014. It was last year.
Okay, so then maybe he's got one more year left.
I could be completely wrong on this. But
you know what? I never know. I just say that
Cam
when
knows
they sign.
I know Cam knows the...
He's a wealth of knowledge.
Cam knows too much about too much.
That's what happens when you don't talk to the outside world.
Yeah.
You can just soak in as much information as you need to.
Cam's out in the real world right now.
Well, here's the difference too.
He's
though. It's
out in the real world right as we speak.
He changes teams so much, so he learns all the facts about so many different teams, right? So he's very good with that. So then he learns prospect pools because once he gets into a team, he gets into a team. So in 2 years down the road, when his team flips from Philadelphia to, I don't know, Minnesota or Colorado, he'll know everybody in the system. Yeah. Speaking of Colorado.
It's the revolving door of Chicago Stanley Cup Finals. 2010, crapping all over Chicago. Jonathan Toews sucks. Let's go Philly. 2013, I love Toews. I want Chicago to win. 2015, fuck Chicago. I want Tampa Bay to win. Yeah. Toews, you're an asshole. It's a revolving door of Chicago Stanley Cup Finals.
It's interesting.
He scored his first ever Stanley Cup Final goal at home last night, actually. Never scored at home.
Toews?
Yeah, never scored at home in the finals. He's just an away player. He was unreal.
He's got 100 playoff points already.
That's ridiculous.
That's insane.
You're in the conference or Stanley Cup Finals 5 years in a row. I guess you're.
How many years has he not been in the playoffs? Chicago only make it only once without...
Their first year?
With like Kane and Taves, they didn't make it, right?
Did they not make it the first year?
I don't know. That would have been like
honestly,
08.
I don't even know if they've never made the...
I think they made it to the conference finals the first year they had... first year they had them. 09.
Like, how ridiculous is that? Like,
what year did Taves start? What was his first year? 08 or 09?
Well, he was drafted in 07, so he might have started in 08, but I don't know.
He played 2 years in college, I think.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So probably 09, I would say, and yeah, they went to conference finals.
So then he's been in the playoffs every year. He's been in the conference finals 5 of his 7 years.
That's ridiculous.
Potentially 3 Stanley Cups. That's
crazy.
And Steve Yzerman said he's a better player than he was.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good compliment. I take that as a pretty good compliment.
Yeah. The guy that scored one of the nicest goals in playoff history.
Last bit of info. Calder Cup right now. 2-1 for Manchester Monarchs, who it's their last year in the AHL. Because there's a realignment next year, so they could win the Calder Cup. In their last...
So not going to be an AHL team at all next year?
No, because there's a huge realignment next year with all the California teams, with the Moose coming back.
Yeah, I'd actually noticed that.
It's their last year in the league, and they are winning the Calder Cup right now, 2-1.
And you know who Manchester Monarchs affiliate is?
LA.
Yeah.
Someone's got to win a championship, right?
He's got to be there.
And then you just see, I follow LA Kings on Twitter, and they just retweet it. It's like, fuck, not only do you have prospects, but next year you're going to come back and win the cup again, because you took this year off, and then
we'll see, though, if they can do with the salary cap, right? That's the big, they're pretty,
Chicago needs to win the cup this year. The Kings need to win the cup next year. They have to make an exception in 2017, and they have to play each other for the cup.
Yeah.
Here's the other thing, though, is that there is that issue in LA with their coach, with Sutter, right now.
Yeah, people were saying they're kind of like his message is falling on deaf ears now.
I heard they locked him out of the room after a couple games at the end of the year.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, that's partly. I bet you that's because they're not in the playoffs. Like, they're not used to not being there, right? Like,
they're frustrated.
They won the Stanley Cup last year, and they didn't make the playoffs this year. I think that's just totally probably on that. But I mean, after all, he's that kind of hard-nosed kind of coach.
He's old-fashioned, right? Yeah. He's like McLean was for Ottawa. Very old-fashioned, I'm going to yell at you until it's in you. And now it's more you got to build a relationship with the guys. And
he doesn't need to be coaching. He was on his farm in Alberta enjoying life, and the Kings called him, and he's like, all right. He doesn't need a job. He can do what he wants. He can coach how he wants to.
Yeah.
He partly owns it. Does he own Red Deer, or is it his brother that owns Red Deer?
I don't know.
The Rebels. I know one of them. I'm pretty sure Brent owns it. I don't know if they own it together.
Maybe. I could see it, obviously. Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me one bit. But we're running out of time, actually. We ran over the hour, but...
One more tidbit.
Yeah.
The Leafs AHL, they signed a coach as well, Sheldon Kennedy.
That's right.
I don't know. Some of you might have heard some past stories about him. He was kind of part of like a weird scandal when he was younger. It was...
Right.
Yeah, I read about it in Bob McKenzie's book, which was terrible as well, if anyone... I did not like Hockey Confidential. I read it, but yeah, so that's good for them. He was the Sioux Greyhounds coach.
Oh, okay.
So that should be good. He's good. Apparently, he's really good with young guys. So
that'll be good, and it's good to get a guy who's good with young guys, especially with AHL, with the way Toronto's trying to rebuild. Yeah. And guys, all summer you're gonna hear a lot of Toronto stuff, so get prepared for it.
Oh yeah.
It'll be great, especially right around draft time. That's the best part.
The Leaf fans actually dominate this podcast now.
That's what's going to happen. You're going to be a minority. You are a minority.
Oh, I know. And Cam just is...
Cam's everywhere.
Cam just floats around.
Cam jumps on the bandwagons.
As soon as we mention anything about Phil Kessel, he'll go off.
Oh, yeah. He's actually... There were... damn, I guess we... Well, we're over.
Well, whatever. We can...
There's been trade speculation, actually. Like, teams are legitimately, getting ready to... At the Combine, they were talking to Toronto, hey, what's it going to take to get Phil Kessel away from you guys? And then,
it's funny how the entire world thinks Phil Kessel sucks, but everybody who's in hockey and does anything knows.
His contract is hey, $7 million a year, but you're guaranteed almost a point a game with a guy. Hey, he doesn't play defense, but...
Not only that, but he's... You know what you get from him every night. Yeah, point a game guy who doesn't miss games.
No. And I hate everyone rags on him if he's overweight and stuff. There is somewhat of a reason for that, just to give people a heads up. He had testicular cancer when he's younger, so he's actually on meds that kind of prevent him from getting super skinny. So there is
that retained fat.
Don't get me wrong, he eats a lot of cheeseburgers. I will not deny that, but there is a reason
he does eat unhealthy.
There's lots of. Keith Tkachuk was a. I don't know if people know this, but I've met him. He was a chunky guy.
Yeah,
and he was a great hockey player.
Yeah, and Phil Kessel's still fat. Imagine if he got any skinnier, man. No,
He'd be so fast. He'd be too fast for anyone to have.
Like Ryan Reeves has probably got some junk on him.
Well, buffling.
Number one buff.
Buff's
man.
got,
They're not like hockey players. Like they did a thing where they posted pictures of hockey players and guys asked their girlfriends what they think this guy does.
Oh, that was so funny.
You don't have any idea if a guy's a hockey player. Like it was their picture. Like the Phil Kessel one's like he looks like he works in like IT or something.
It's funny.
But yeah, they get these pictures of these people. And it's like I don't know who this like Ovechkin. They were like none of these guys look like hockey players. Like like athletes and other sports. Like, okay, he definitely plays football.
Yeah. On that note,
if you're really oblivious like my mom, you walk by Blake Wheeler and talk to him about 20 times before you go, oh, maybe he's a hockey player. She used to walk in this area, and he lives around here, and I guess he bumped into her a bunch of times on the walk, and she always talked to him. And one day, we were driving to the States, and she asked Cam and I if any of the Jets players live in their area, and I'm like, I don't know, and she goes, talk to us about how she met this guy. He's tall, he's handsome, he's young, he's pretty muscular, he's super friendly, so we show her some pictures, and I'm sure Wheeler, she's like, oh, that's him. I'm like,
how lucky you are.
I mean, these guys obviously don't,
They want it, that's the way they want to be treated, though.
Of course.
Yeah.
He was probably in his glory because he was talking to someone, and he's probably like, she has no idea who I am.
Which is awesome. But one last note. Tampa Bay's Twitter had a little bit of fun with Jimmy Fallon, because Jimmy Fallon did, like, most likely to whatever.
Yeah.
And so Tampa Bay fired back, because he made fun of some of the Tampa Bay players, and he fired back saying, Tampa Bay said, most likely to get a New York Rangers tramp stamp, and they showed a picture, or New York Rangers Stanley Cup Final winner, 2015 tramp stamp, and showed him, like, upset at a Ranger game, just, like, leaning over. I'll try to find the tweet and retweet it off our account, but from all of us here at Last Man In, we say we don't need you, Cam, anymore, because we ran the show just fine. And if it got uploaded, it means that we actually don't need him, because I can do it. So
this might join the lost podcast files. We don't know.
We're praying. So thanks, everyone, for listening. And maybe Cam can write into us next week to tell us his tales.
Did we get an email this week? Did anyone check?
No, I looked.
Okay.
I have it linked to my phone now, so no mail. So if you are out there, lastmaninpc@gmail.com. Send us an email. Let us know your thoughts, any questions you have for us. Stefan, any closing thoughts?
Yeah, it's my first podcast. Lost my podcast virginity today, guys. So hope your ears don't hurt too bad. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys soon.
We'll figure out a time next week. Dan?
We'll figure out a time next week. Oh, that's how we're going to sign off.
No, I want you to say something.
Professional.
No, you say something.
Super professional. Say something?
Yeah.
Something.
Fuck you.
Something cool.
What did you say? Something cool.